Rank 1, the Conscript. You're 17 years old in Petare, the largest slum in South America. The recruiter finds you on a corner where the options are the military, the gangs, or the grave. You choose the uniform because it comes with 3 meals a day. In Petare, 3 meals is a salary, basic training outside Caracas. The barracks were built in the 70s and haven't been maintained since. The roof leaks. The beds have springs that stab your back. The food is rice and mystery. They give you a rifle, a Belgian FAL from 1972. Older than your parents, the firing pin sticks, the magazine wobbles. You're told to treat it like your life depends on it. It does, it barely works. The drill instructors scream about the Bolivarian Revolution, about imperialism, about the glory of Hugo Chavez. You don't understand half the words, you understand the screaming. A kid from Maracaibo collapses during a march. Dehydration. There's no medic. There's no water truck. Someone pours canteen water on his face and they drag him to the shade. Training continues. You learn to march. You learn to salute. You learn to say patria o muerte with conviction you don't feel. Fatherland or death. The motto of a revolution that hasn't fed you yet. They show you a video of Chavez, then Maduro. You're told these men saved Venezuela. Outside the barracks, Venezuela is starving, but inside, you nod. Graduation. Your mother takes a bus for 9 hours to watch. She cries because you look fed. That's the victory, not the uniform, the weight on your bones. This is rank 1. The Venezuelan military doesn't recruit soldiers. It rescues the starving and gives them a gun. Rank 2, the private soldado. Private. You're assigned to the 42nd Infantry Brigade near the Colombian border. The base is half abandoned. The motor pool has trucks with no engines and engines with no trucks. Your salary is the equivalent of $8 American a month. It is $8. A sergeant laughs when you ask about a raise. He says the real pay comes later. You don't understand yet. Border patrol. Your job is to watch the jungle where Colombian guerrillas and drug runners cross freely. You watch. They cross. Nobody stops them. You start to understand. A truck passes through your checkpoint at 3 a.m. The corporal waves it through without inspection. You ask why. He says, don't ask. The way he says it makes your stomach turn. You're hungry. The mess hall runs out of food by the 3rd week of every month. Soldiers trade patrol shifts for empanadas from the village. The black market feeds the army that the government can't. Your equipment is Russian. A K-103 rifles, BMP-3 vehicles. The manuals are in Cyrillic. Nobody reads Russian. You learn to operate by trial and error and the occasional explosion. Desertions happen weekly. Soldiers walk into the jungle and don't come back. They cross into Colombia. They disappear into the cities. The officers don't report it because empty beds mean nobody asks questions. A letter from your mother. The price of flour tripled again. She's eating once a day so your sister can eat twice. You send half your $8 home. $4 keeping a family alive. This is rank 2. You signed up for 3 meals, you got 2. The revolution feeds its speeches better than its soldiers. Rank 3, the Corporal Cabo. 2 chevrons. You're in charge of 4 soldiers who are hungrier than you and no less than you. Leadership by default. The first bribe happens on a Tuesday. A truck driver offers you $20 to skip the inspection. $20 is 2.5 months of salary. You wave the truck through. The corporal above you takes 40%. His sergeant takes 40%. You keep 20%. $4. The same as your entire salary. You made a month's pay in 30 seconds. You don't know what's in the trucks. You know it's not food. You know it's not medicine. You know that asking is the fastest way to end up in a ditch near the border. The National Guard operates the real checkpoints. They make 10 times what you make. They drive new trucks. They wear new boots. The hierarchy of corruption is as structured as the hierarchy of rank. You send money home. Your mother doesn't ask where it came from. Your sister is eating 3 times a day now. As corruption buys the meals that the revolution promised. A soldier in your squad refuses a bribe. Moral principles. 2 weeks later, he's transferred to a base in the jungle, so remote it doesn't appear on civilian maps. You never hear from him again. You learn the rule. Everyone takes. The ones who don't disappear, not into graves, into silence, which is worse. This is rank 3, the first taste of real money. The system doesn't corrupt you. Now, it shows you the price of everything and gives you the option to starve or participate. Rank 4, the Sergeant Sargento. You run a squad. 12 soldiers who call you Sargento and mean it because you decide who eats and who patrols and who looks the other way. The drug money is steady now, not a trickle, a river. Cocaine moves through your sector like water moves through pipes, invisible unless you look for it. And everyone has learned not to look. A Cuban advisor arrives at your base. Intelligence. He watches everything. He reports to Havana, which reports to Caracas, which reports to Maduro. The chain of surveillance is as long as the chain of command. The Cuban teaches you interrogation techniques, how to get information without leaving marks, how to scare someone into silence using nothing but words and time in a locked room. Protests erupt in Caracas. 2019, Guaido declares himself president. Your unit is activated. You're told the protesters are CIA agents. If American puppets, enemies of the revolution. You load into a truck and drive to Caracas, and you see the protesters, and they look like your mother. They look like your sister. They're holding flags and screaming for food. You stand in a line with a riot shield, and they throw rocks, and you hold the line because the sergeant above you is watching, and the Cuban behind him is watching, and someone is always watching. Tear gas. The crowd scatters. A woman falls. She's carrying a baby. You help her up. Your sergeant sees. He says nothing. But the Cuban writes something in a notebook. Your name is in that notebook now. You go back to the border. The protests continue on television. People die. Maduro stays. The revolution survives everything except the question nobody is allowed to ask. What was it for? This is rank 4. The rank where you hold a shield against your own people and learn that the enemy of the revolution is anyone who's hungry enough to complain. In rank 5, the Lieutenant Teniente, officer. You graduated from the Venezuelan Military Academy, 4 years of Bolivar quotes, Chavez doctrine, and tactical training with equipment from 1985. The academy teaches you that Venezuela is under permanent siege. America wants your oil. Colombia wants your territory. The revolution is the only wall between the people and annihilation. You believe it, or you learn to perform, believing it so well that the difference disappears. Your first command is a platoon in Zulia, 40 soldiers. Half of them are paid by the government. The other half are paid by whoever is moving product through the region this month. You meet the Cartel de los Soles for the first time, the Cartel of the Suns. Named after the sun insignia on generals' shoulder boards, military officers running cocaine routes using military infrastructure. A colonel invites you to dinner, steak, imported whiskey. His house has marble floors in a country where hospitals don't have aspirin. He says the revolution takes care of those who take care of the revolution. He's offering you a choice, stay clean and stay poor, or join the machine and eat steak. You eat the steak. The money changes everything. Your mother moves out of Petare, your sister goes to a private school. You buy a car, a Toyota Land Cruiser. In Venezuela, a Land Cruiser is a uniform that says, I take. This is rank 5. The rank where you learn that the Bolivarian Revolution is a business. Ideology is the logo. Cocaine is the product. Loyalty is the price of admission. Rank 6, the Captain Capitan. Company Commander. 150 soldiers. You run the most profitable checkpoint in Zulia State. The Colombians pay you directly now. Not through intermediaries. An envelope every 2 weeks. The amount is more than your annual salary, per envelope. You answer to a general, who answers to a minister, who answers to Maduro. Each level takes a cut. The system is a pyramid where cocaine flows up and money flows down. Or is it the other way? The opposition protests again. 2024 this time. They say Maduro stole the election. Your unit deploys to Caracas again. Same shields, same tear gas, different faces screaming the same thing. Food, freedom, change. This time is worse. Your soldiers fire rubber bullets that aren't rubber. Live rounds in a crowd. 17 people die in your sector. You write a report that says 0 casualties. Your colonel signs it. A journalist films one of your soldiers shooting a protester. The video goes viral. The soldier disappears. Not arrested, transferred. The word transferred in the Venezuelan military means erased. The Americans sanction you. Your name appears on a list, travel ban, asset freeze. You've never been to America. You don't have assets in American banks. The sanctions are a badge of honor. Yes, the generals congratulate you. Your wife asks what you do. You say you serve the country. She lives in a house with a pool. In Venezuela, a pool is a confession. A photograph. You, the colonel, and two men in civilian clothes. The civilians are FARC commanders. The photo is taken at a barbecue. Everyone is laughing. Someday this photo will be evidence. Today it's a Tuesday. This is rank 6, the rank where you learn that every crime needs a uniform to make it legal. And every uniform needs a crime to make it profitable. Rank 7, the colonel coronel, brigade level. You command 1,500 soldiers and a cocaine route worth $80 million a year. You work with the DGCIM military counterintelligence, the most feared institution in Venezuela. They monitor officers. They monitor civilians. They monitor each other. Trust is a luxury nobody can afford. A young lieutenant refuses an order to participate in a drug shipment. I said, you give him a choice, cooperate or be charged with treason. He cooperates. A year later, he hangs himself in his quarters. Nobody investigates. The Venezuelan Navy moves cocaine by submarine. The Air Force moves it by plane. The Army moves it by truck. Every branch has a role. The FANB is the most diversified drug operation in the Western Hemisphere. You meet Vladimir Padrino Lopez, the Minister of Defense, the most powerful military officer in Venezuela. Only Maduro is above him. He shakes your hand and says, the revolution needs strong colonels. He means the revolution needs colonels who move product and keep quiet. You are both. He promotes you. Your bank account is in Panama. Your wife shops in Madrid. Your children go to school in Bogota. The revolution you defend with speeches is the country you flee with money. The Americans offer you a deal. Cooperate with the DEA, and they'll drop the charges. You consider it for 30 seconds. Then you think about what happened to the last officer who cooperated. They found him in 3 different states of his body. You stay loyal, not to Maduro, not to the revolution, to the system, because the system is the only thing between you and a prison cell or a shallow grave. This is rank 7, the rank where you realize the cage is made of gold, but it's still a cage, and the door only opens one way. Rank 8, the Brigadier General, General de Brigada, 1 star. You are one of over 100 brigadier generals Maduro promoted in a single ceremony, loyalty purchased wholesale. Your star was pinned by Maduro himself. He looked you in the eye and said something about Bolivar. You said something about the revolution. Both of you were performing. Neither of you believes a word. The Cuban advisors are everywhere now, not just military. Intelligence, communications, surveillance. The joke is that Havana runs Caracas. Nobody laughs because it's not a joke. You attend a meeting at Miraflores Palace, the presidential palace. Maduro sits at the head. Diosdado Cabello sits to his right. Padrino Lopez to his left. You sit at the far end and say nothing. Generals who speak at Miraflores don't leave Miraflores. The economy collapses. Hyperinflation. The believer is worthless. The shelves are empty. 6 million Venezuelans flee the country, the largest displacement in Latin American history. You are the uniform that caused the displacement. Russian advisors arrive. They bring S-300 surface-to-air missile training. They bring BUKM-2E systems. They say the Americans are planning something. The Cubans agree. You don't know who to believe, but you know everyone is afraid. Your soldiers are deserting faster than you can replace them. The best leave. The worst stay. The FANB is hollowing out from the inside. A military that looks strong on paper and collapses at the first real push. Protests again, January 2026, the largest since 1979. Thousands dead. You deploy your brigade. This time you don't carry a shield. You carry the authority to shoot. The order comes from Miraflores. The order always comes from Miraflores. You follow the order because the alternative is being on the other side of the order. This is rank 8. You wear a star on your shoulder and a target on your back. The Americans have your name. The Cubans have your file. Maduro has your loyalty. Nobody has your trust. Always rank 9. The division. General de División. 2 stars. The inner circle. You attend meetings where the future of 30 million people is decided by 12 men in a room. Maduro trusts no one, but he distrusts you less than the others. That's as close to trust as the revolution gets. December 2025. Intelligence reports say the Americans are moving warships into the Caribbean, more than usual, much more. The USS Iwo Jima, aircraft carriers, destroyers. The kind of fleet you send when diplomacy is over. You brief Maduro. He waves his hand. He says the Americans talk, but never act. He said the same thing about the sanctions. He was wrong then. You don't say this. The Cubans are nervous. They've seen American interventions before. Bay of Pigs, Grenada, Panama. They know the pattern. Ships first, then silence, then helicopters. You inspect Fort Tiuna, the air defenses. The BUK-M2E system sitting in the open because nobody trained the operators to camouflage it. The guard shifts that change at predictable times. The communication system that runs on one frequency. You write a report recommending emergency defensive measures, dispersal of air defenses, randomized guard shifts, hardened communications. The report goes to Padrino Lopez. Padrino Lopez puts it in a drawer. The drawer stays closed. Christmas passes, New Year passes, the Americans are still there. The fleet is larger now. RQ-17. Stealth drones appear on satellite imagery. They've been circling Caracas for weeks. January 2nd. You can feel it. The air is different. The intelligence channels are quiet in the way they go. Quiet before something loud. You sleep at Fort Tiuna. You sleep in your uniform. This is rank 9. The rank where you know what's coming and nobody will listen. Because the revolution doesn't take advice. It takes loyalty. And loyalty doesn't stop helicopters. On rank 10, the General-in-Chief, General en Jefe, 4 stars, the highest military rank in Venezuela below the Commander-in-Chief. You are the sword of the revolution, and the sword is about to meet the hand that forged it. January 2nd, 11 p.m. A phone call, scrambled line. The radar stations on the coast have detected something. Aircraft at the edge of Venezuelan airspace. More aircraft than they've ever seen. You call Padrino Lopez. He calls Maduro. And Maduro says it's probably an exercise. American exercises don't happen at midnight with 200 aircraft. You order the BUK systems activated. The operators reach the consoles. The consoles are jammed. Every frequency is static. Every radar screen is blank. Someone turned the lights off from the outside. January 3rd, 2 a.m. The explosions begin. The motor pool at Fort Tiuna takes the first hit. Then the vehicle depot. Then the communications center. In 90 seconds, everything that could chase an extraction force is burning. You try to contact the Air Force, the Su-30S at El Libertador, the F-16S at Barquisimeto. Nothing. The frequencies are dead. The entire Venezuelan military communications network has been reduced to men shouting at each other across burning courtyards. Your soldiers fire into the sky, green tracers reaching for shadows they can't see, shooting at the sound of rotors, most of them shooting in the wrong direction. Then helicopters land inside the compound, Black Hawks. You've studied them. You know what they carry, Delta Force, the Night Stalkers. The most lethal extraction team on Earth is now inside your base. The fight is over before it starts. Your soldiers are brave.